Yeah, Mother's Day. So I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the Mother of Unity, Myrtle Fillmore, and all the amazing women that have been part and still are part of the Unity community, the Unity movement. I've got all these books. I've got Myrtle Fillmore's Healing Letters, Emily Cady, Lessons in Truth, The Dynamic Laws of Healing, Catherine Ponder, 5 Principles by Ellen Davenport. And many of you probably have heard me quote from the Revealing Word, which is mostly Charles Fillmore's works, but they were compiled in large part by his secretary and second wife, Cora Fillmore, and a lot of other people put this book together. But I'm not going to use any of them. Isn't that good news? Especially those of you who like me to keep my messages under 2 hours. That's the one thing my mom told me. You know, I traveled. She was in California with my father traveling. I got to tell this mom story because it's Mother's Day. And she had an attack in her lungs. She got pneumonia. And so she almost passed that weekend. And they put her in the hospital on a ventilator. And there were several nights where it was questionable. And I said, I've got to go. Somebody gave me their frequent flyer miles. My brother and I flew to California to see her. And that day that we arrived, one of the nurses came in and says she's just waking up for the first time in 3 days. And so we went in, and the first thing I said to her, I said, we've been praying for you. I know your healing is a result of prayer. And Mom, guess what? I'm going to be a minister. And I was so excited. And the first thing she says, coming back from the dead, mind you, her first words were, keep your sermons short. That's the last thing she wanted to hear when she came back from the dead was a long sermon. So, I've been trying, Mom. It's not easy when you have so much material. I have a library full of books in my office and another library downstairs, and people telling me things all week long and sending me videos and check this out and praying with me and giving me information. And all the information that you really need to know today is that your mother loves you. That healing and wholeness come from that feeling of being cared for, of being loved, of being held in that warm, sure protection of the mother's love. Spirit is a very feminine thing for me. Spirit is both masculine and feminine simultaneously. But as a human being, I experience love as a nurturing, caring feeling. And many of us men have cut ourselves off from that nurturing, caring part of us because we were taught to be strong and hard and tough and fight for your family or your country or whatever it might be. We weren't taught to be gentle and kind and nurturing. I think the first time I really found my nurturing side was when my son was born. And I was holding this newborn human being in my arms and knowing that all of his care depended on his mother and myself. And if there were two of us being nurturing, he was going to have a much better chance at being a kind and nurturing person himself. I wasn't going to talk about any of this. But I'm so grateful that today we can talk about healing and wholeness. Because oftentimes we think of healing just as the curing of a disease of the body or temporary relief from our suffering. We say, I'm healed, but then you come to me next week and you got a whole nother list of things that you're suffering from. A whole nother litany of diseases. Well, I thought you were healed. Well, I was healed from that, but now I got this. I'm like, that, come on. And when you're healed, you are whole. In recognition of your wholeness, you are able to live in that perfection. You wonder why some people, they think that we're an old congregation. I said, no way. These folks are young. You've never seen a younger 95-year-old than Joseph. How old are you, Joseph?
90.
He is. I was just a guess. You'll never see a younger 90-year-old than Dolores DeLuce. She danced all night the other night at Embargo at Jack's birthday. You'll never see younger people than you see here. These folks are not old. In their consciousness, they are healed and whole and young. Amen. And John's getting younger every day. I love it. So the true meaning of healing is to make hale or whole. It's a very specific translation, or definition rather, to restore the individual to the original balance with the universe. It's an entirely spiritual approach to healing. And it was the method employed by Jesus in his demonstration of healing. I lied, I am going to quote the revealing word. To heal, to make sound or whole, to bring forth the perfect Christ being that exists in each one of us. To me, that's healing. To bring forth the Christ being, or the being of light, the divine being, the Buddha nature, the divine essence of you. To bring that out. To join with you there. And for some of us, it's just we're at the point where we're not going to accept anything less. Because I see your light. I see your power. I see your perfection. I see who you are. Remember Avatar, the great line in that is, I see you. I see you, wow. And it wasn't used until that person was actually experiencing their divine nature. Then you could see them. Ah, I see you. Here you are. You're showing me your divine nature. Thank you. That's what I'm looking for. And that's healing and wholeness. And the wonderful thing about moms is at least my mom, is she always tended to see the divine nature in me no matter how much I was misbehaving. They always tend to see the goodness in their kids. And I loved that. I knew I was loved no matter what. It gave me a sense of freedom and accomplishment and that I was enough. So when this is accomplished, when we really get to the place where we're experiencing the Christ in us, we're healed and whole. When this is accomplished, there's generally a sudden shift from disease to wellness, from blocked energy to that natural flow. I'm flowing with your cell phone noise. I'm flowing with that ringtone. Because that's what makes our cells vibrate with joy. It's ding, ding, it's a vibration. My cells are vibrating now to what? The recognition of the Christ in me and in you. So, chapter 5, Course in Miracles. I love it. I love A Course in Miracles, and I always mention it because it's changed my life. To heal is to make happy. Isn't that wonderful? That's why we sang that song, Happy. I had no idea it was in the Daily Word. Once again, Daily Word comes through. To heal is to make happy. Joy calls forth an integrated willingness to share it. You want to share that happiness, that joy. When we were singing that song, didn't you want to just share that? You wanted to be part of it, and you wanted to share it with others. And that's how we wake up in the morning, Lily and I. We claim a blessing and we go forth to share our joy because it promotes the mind's natural impulse to respond as one. Oh. Isn't that interesting? That's why I love A Course in Miracles. It just throws my mind. How do I respond as one? One mind. One with God mind. What does that mean, to respond as one? What is this natural impulse to respond as one? It means that there's only one mind. It means there is only one mind, and that's the mind of love, the mind of God, the mind of peace, the mind of truth, the mind of healing, the natural inherent intelligence in everything in the universe. And every cell, every molecule in the universe has this mind, is this mind. It's the natural intelligence inherent in everything in the universe. That's the mind of God. And even though we appear to have separate bodies and separate thoughts, which would indicate the possibility of separate minds, it's just not true. There really is only one power and one presence active in the universe and in my life. One power, one presence, one mind. And some choose to call that power God, and then in reality, if you choose to call it God, there's only one mind, that's the mind of God. So don't let God be small in your mind. Don't let God have an opposite called evil or the devil or Satan. That would discount your whole theology of God being all powerful and all loving and all knowing and ever present and creator of all creation. So it cannot have an opposite. There's only one mind. Now, this has been quoted in this way. Can you? I love your cell phone ringtone, but I think we're tired of that song by now. If you could please turn it off. This is it. You've seen this probably on Facebook, on the internet. And welcome back, Christine, by the way. Christina. Yeah, good to see you. I'm glad you're here. I'm going to talk about visitations in a minute, because you might like this. This is really cool. The total number of minds in the universe is one. In fact, consciousness is a singularity, meaning there's only one of it. But it's phasing in and out of you based on your awareness or acceptance of it. Now, many people have attributed this to Austrian physicist Erwin Schrödinger. So I like to look up my quotes to see if they actually said it. And, well, this is what he actually said. And you might, right? And you might, remember he's famous for saying that the cat isn't in the drawer until you go and open the drawer and look for the cat. Right? Remember that? No? Well, that's what he said. He and you can look it up. You'll find something like that. Basically, the idea is this, that he wrote something about wave functions. He was one of the fathers of quantum physics. Now, what he said was that it's not there until somebody observes it. You've all heard that probably. No? You're all new then here. Because I've said this quite often, that what you see out there is a projection of your mind. Everything is waves of energy, and the waves don't become particles until something observes it. A consciousness observes it and focuses it into a particular particle or group of particles that form or manifest the physical universe. So Schrödinger was the first one that said everything in the manifest realm, in this way, I'm paraphrasing, everything in the manifest realm has its beginning in thought or consciousness. That's the third principle of unity. Well, it just so happens that it is in alignment with quantum physics. Now, this is about as close as the translation we could get. Consciousness by its nature is always singular. Oh, this is good. It's always singular, the total number of all conscious units. I love how he says we are conscious units. We're not minds, we're not beings. It's just very scientific. We are conscious units. And the total number of conscious units, or human beings, minds, thinking, is one. We're all sharing the same mind. You don't like that. Well, you do. But many people want to keep their private thoughts and attack the thoughts of others when there's only one mind. Consciousness by its nature is singular. The bottom line is this, that the foundation of all healing is the reality of our oneness. And our individual healing can be considered a return to the awareness of our inherent wholeness as a species. Yeah, we're inherently good. We're inherently one. We are inherently God. Come on, guys. Let's heal the separation. Yes, thank you. We're going to heal the separation individually by claiming who and what we are, remembering that, and then acting like it, demonstrating that truth in the world. Because once we have that experience, we return to balance and harmony, both within ourselves and in relationship with everything else. If you look at how out of balance we are as a species with the earth, it's just a symptom of how out of balance we are with ourselves, with our relationship with God or the light within us. We've invented this thing outside of us, and we try to then have a separate relationship with this thing that we can never reach. We can never be, one with really, truly. We can never demonstrate that power. Maybe one guy did it 2,000 years ago, but I can't do it. And then where are you? You're in separation. You're in littleness. You're in lack. You're in limitation. And then you're in anger and violence and frustration. And the cycle keeps going and going and going. How do we stop that? We talked about this not too long ago, probably last week. Was it last week? Boy, that was a long time ago for me. We go to the source of the disruption within us. Heal the sense of separation that we feel within us. Become whole. And then we demonstrate that wholeness. And I love it because I look around and I see you guys doing it. I see you demonstrating your wholeness, your oneness with the universe. I see it and I feel it. When we're not in each other's presence here, I feel it in operation. And that's what I want you to become aware of. Acutely aware of the love that's being expressed. Forget everything else. It has no meaning. Forget everything else. Forget about the symptoms. Let's go to the cause. Let's go to the root cause of all of our problems and heal that and become whole. Now you might ask, what does any of this have to do with Mother's Day? Well, I have no idea. Actually, I do. But because I've had the experience of being loved unconditionally by my mom. And even if your mom wasn't that way with you, you've had someone in your life that's loved you unconditionally. And that's mother energy. Even if you've had no human being that's done that for you, the earth is your mother and loves you unconditionally. The water, the air, the plants, the flowers, the food, everything is given you unconditionally without any conditions whatsoever. It's all yours. Even the stars in the heavens are yours. The oceans and the wind and the waves and all the energies of the universe are just for you. They are you. They're part of you. And they're just for you, there to experience. So how much can I receive? How much can I experience of that wonderful free gift? I've had many experiences of healing and wholeness, coming back to my wholeness in the presence of my mom. When I was young, I could experience a healing just having a phone conversation with my mom. I still want to pick up the phone and call her. And she tells me, you don't need a phone anymore. You know how they say when a cardinal appears. Sometimes that's a visitation from somebody who's passed over. This cardinal's been following me around now for 2 days. And I finally got the message. I mean, it would land on our deck. It would look right in the window. And then I'd go around the other side of our condo, and there it was again, sitting in the bush. I'd look out the window. There it was again. Like it was following me. And I realized, oh, it's my mom. She's visiting me. She's come to just share her love once again. No specific message, just an incredible deep feeling of love. And it was the same with my grandma. I used to always, whenever I would drive down anywhere near New Bedford, I'd stop at her house just to sit with her. And I don't even know what we talked about. We would just talk about nothing at all. And sometimes we would just sit there. She was wide awake, and I was wide awake. She wasn't sleeping. We were just sitting there. She'd be rocking in her chair, very content. One with God, one with the universe. And I would feel so transported to a different place and a different time where all was love. And I loved that feeling. We really don't have to do a whole lot to love one another because it's natural. I know it's natural for a mom to love her kids, and it's natural for you to love everyone else. We need to love like I said in the beginning, each and every child on this planet as if it were our own. Yeah, we need to step it up a little and show others that this is really the way of life. This is the way human beings are supposed to treat one another. We're supposed to love and respect one another and care for one another because we are one. And I know that we can do it. I know that we can be healed and that we can become aware of our wholeness. And I know that we can become happy, happier than you've ever imagined. So I want you to be happy today, okay? Promise me this one thing. Today, you will choose happiness. Yes? All right, amen. Happy Mother's Day, everyone.
You have been watching the message from our Sunday celebration service here at Unity on Cape Cod, providing a positive path for spiritual living. Please join us every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. at 147 Walton Ave, Hyannis, Mass. And visit us online at unityoncapecod.org. This video was made possible in part through a grant from Unity Worldwide Ministries and the Templeton Foundation.